Things you might have missed from the dev server. Let's talk a little bit about them, and of course I'm not including data mines or anything like that because I'm gonna wait for all the data mines to be released and then of course take a look on stuff that are not in the game yet. These are the things that are in the game in the dev that you probably have missed. The first thing is this, guys. So now if you go to options in almost any tank, it's kind of weird. And if you go to common battle settings, you can have some interesting sights over here. So for example, we have a US modern sight with range that if I add, if I'm not mistaken, with the green color, becomes a very realistic sight system for the Abrams, as you see. Very cool, right? And then if you turn, I mean, look at this. This is very similar to real life. Of course, you can always use the laser, rangefinder, but of course you have on the side there a range indicator as well, which is pretty cool. You can use Russian ones. Of course, you probably would use them in Russian vehicles, but you can use in Russian ones, in Russian vehicles or not. The USSR modern one, which is this one, which is pretty cool as well. Very similar to the more modern sight of the Russian tanks. Also with the scale on the side there. And then we have this one, which is kind of an odd one, the Sosna U, which I think it's a commander sight in real life. I might be wrong. I don't remember. But yeah, it's a more simple design that you just point and shoot. So very cool, right? Don't know if you're enemies, Fox 3s are gonna hit you or not. Now you have this, a radio or radar altimeter in the game, showing the direct, basically height of the vehicle until the ground. So basically now you have the barometric, the altitude over here to the common level, sea level, and then this showing the exact distance between you and the ground. You can see that it varies a lot in these terrains, for example, because we have a lot of mountains and hills and stuff, so it's varying a lot over here. And you can even put a limit there that shows in red for you to know if you're flying low enough so that the missiles, for example, or a safe altitude or anything like that, but if a Fox 3 missile would hit you or not, so if you're flying above 60 meters or not. How do you activate it? Well, you go into options, air battles, and then there is this, indicated altitude, barometric and radar altitude. You choose this one, or just the radar one, barometric one. I prefer to have both. And then you can pick the distance to the ground where it becomes red and basically the safe altitude, right? So very cool addition. You can know for sure what is the distance that you are flying from the ground, not only to the sea level. And it becomes red if you are flying below the mark so that you are safe from Fox 3 missiles. Yeah, very cool. Now the Su-27 SM can actually carry 12 missiles, as you see, with the R-77 with a double pylon in the middle. So now you can actually take a double pylon in the middle there just with the R-77, making you able to fire 12 missiles. This is, maybe people don't get how important this is, and it's fine. It will become a little bit harder on the sense of being a lot more heavy, but I mean, you just have a lot of missiles, don't you? So yeah, maybe not a big buff, but it's indeed a buff to the Su-27. As you see, it doesn't stop. It's 12 missiles. So yeah, Su-27 SM technically with a buff if using the R-77. For some AA systems like the ARATs or some other AA systems that we're going to talk about, they actually added a more complex X-ray vision that you can take a look. So here we have all the modules that they added, power system, some of them were added already, but they're adding more. And of course, a new addition on X-ray part filter over here. So we have all the different parts of the vehicle here, the power system, for example, battery packs and other supplies of powers and stuff, gun stabilizer, radar, all sorts of stuff. If this gets hit, it will destroy that. You have the vertical aiming drive over here, the electronic equipment, that is basically the radar together with the IR tracker and stuff. You have the fuel tanks down there, horizontal aiming drive, the transmission, the engine. They're all a lot more, you know, made it perfect in a lot of the vehicles, ammunition, all sorts of stuff like that. But also, if you go to the X-ray part filter over here, you can filter just to take a look on what you want to see, because maybe it's too confusing to see. I want to see just the crew. Oh, okay, here's the crew, right? But I want to see the crew and where the weapons are, or the ammunition, for example. Oh, okay. So if I get shot there, probably you're not gonna kill it, or it will kill it. You can take a look, right? Armor parts. Oh, where is the armor inside the tank together with the crew? Oh, that's interesting. You can take a look in many instances where this is used. For example, the Thor is another one, for example, here where, okay, a lot of armor over here, for example. I'm drawing conclusions from this, right? But I want to see everything. Yeah, here's everything. I just want to see where the fuel of the tank is. Okay, so a lot of stuff is added here, a lot more modules, as you see as well, for a lot of the vehicles that are AAs for now. I hope they add these systems for all the tanks and even helicopters and aircraft, because it's pretty interesting. But at the same time, this is pretty interesting to see, and I guess it just really helps for you to take a look where the damage will be when you hit a target, where you get shot at, stuff like that. Very cool, right? Some smaller changes include a new fly model for the F-104C. So apparently it does turn a little bit better. I gotta say, some people are saying that it actually is a nerf to it, but in the actual changelog, it's saying that it is a buff in the sustained turn. So I don't know if it's a buff or a nerf. Gaijin is saying it's a buff. Another change is that the F-104C specifically is carrying the 4 AIM-9B. So now it will have a little bit more firepower to deal with enemies. So pretty cool. I mean, and look at this skin. I love this skin. Some small changes to some of the bombs of the Americans were done as well. For example, the Mark 82 got a nerf. Small one, but it's still there. I don't know if it's a nerf or a buff, because I don't know if the TNT equivalent will remain the same. I just know that the actual explosive mass is decreased by a little bit, like 3-4 kilos or something for the 82. For the 83, I think it was decreased by 1 or 2, but the 84 got kind of a severe decrease of almost 100 kilograms. So again, I don't know if it's the TNT equivalent or just the explosive mass, but still, it is going to be a nerf technically if it is the TN2 equivalent as well, right? So there is that. There are some other small changes, like for example, the A32. Yes, the forgotten A32 that nobody talks too much about, but it actually got a buff in the amount of chaff that it can actually take. So now it is able to carry 400 and something chaff. Let me just check right here. Yeah, 464. So it's 928 chaff that this thing can actually carry. Will it be useful? I don't know, man. Does this thing even face anything that fires radar missiles? Almost, I don't think so. But still, it's a lot of chaff. The only problem is that it's only chaff. So it's kind of sad that it's only chaff. But if you had like 900 flares, it would actually help a lot this aircraft. But still, it is pretty interesting. There are 2 other fly models that they changed, the Tornado one. So let's test fly it a little bit with nothing on it to see if we can actually feel it. So here we are, let's see. I mean, it feels pretty similar in the lower airspeeds. Let's take a little bit more speed, but it should be turning a little bit more. Not by much, but it should be turning more, which is a great thing for Tornado pilots. Should be all the Tornadoes, ADV, IDS, all the Tornadoes. Not that it matters too much. This aircraft will not turn as, as good as other aircraft anyway, but it helps a little bit. Especially the combat flaps, it might help a little bit. Another aircraft is the A10A that should be able to turn a little bit better, or just be more controllable in higher AOA angles, So, I mean, AOA angles, it's kind of redundancy, but you know what I mean, right? So in critical AOA, you will be able to control it a little bit more and be a little bit more. There is another change that I think it's pretty cool that will make you be able, if you are a camouflage like creator, you will be able to actually change the colors now of the camouflages of the external field things. So I don't have one over here, but for example, the F5 here, you would be able to actually, I don't know, the Brazilian F5 camouflage that I have, for example, would be green as well if the creator wants it. So now it is going to be a little bit more realistic and more fun for people that create camouflages to actually be able to change the camouflage colors of field tanks, which is pretty cool. I thought this was something that they allowed already, but apparently no. There was a nerf for the F20. Now it has less ammunition, 460 instead of the 500 and something that it had before. So 100 rounds less, more or less, I think. And there are some interesting camouflage changes to, like, it's not really a camouflage change, it's just a weird thing. So for example, the T80U E1 over here got a camo net, but now the camo nets can actually be in the camouflage color as well, so it can be painted as well, as you see, which is pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. 2 tanks only have these for now. Okay, in the future it will be more, but yeah, the T80U E1 and the Vextra as well. And for those who didn't know, they actually added a new menu for the secondary armament that you can choose in aircraft. So for example, here I can just go here and I can particularly change, do some changes to specific elements and in a live manner see them changing. So for example, here I want to change this R27ET for KH-29. It just changes there. I want to change this one for a parachute bomb, so it is just changing. The middle ones, I want a Zab, for example, it's there. I want this to be an R27, so you can just change it and see it directly there. You can even change it up right here, clicking in many of the presets that we have right now over here. So it is pretty cool. It even changes the weight of the vehicle, so yeah, it has even physics, which is a pretty good thing. And you can even, the camera, I mean my mouse, I need to buy another mouse, but even the camera allows it for more zoom and stuff for you to properly look into the stuff. I wish we can, like, if I select this one, it would focus the camera there. So if you are looking at this Gaijin, please do this, it would be so cool. You click on it and it would focus on the pylon. It would be very cool. But yeah guys, this is another change. And the last change that I wanted to talk about is that in the normal camera over here, let me grab the actual SU-24 over here. If you go to the modifications over here, you can actually take a look on how much damage a base will take from your bomb. So for example, here we have only the Cap 500S, and you can see right there, estimated damage to bases, 5,638. I honestly don't know how much a base life is, but it is giving you the number there. And also the reward multiplier for bases. So it doesn't tell you here, so you would need to choose the bombs and stuff. And maybe, for example, looking at these, let's see if it actually shows us. No, you have to be chosen. So it might be work in progress still, but for example, let's choose this one. Yeah, you can see it right there, see? So estimated damage to bases, if you hit everything, 7,668. If you choose, I don't know, the 1,500 bombs, 36,564, but with less multipliers. The 38 1,000s, 54,000. So you can basically check it out. You can see, for example, the 38 1,000s, hundreds over here make more damage than the 1,500, for example. And you can compare the bomb drops that you can do, 60,000 on the 250s, 63,000 here. So you can just take a look on how much damage and basically choose what is the best option for you to actually do the most amount of damage in the base, which is pretty cool. I always wanted something like this. I always went by the TNT equivalent and basically just that, but with rockets and for example the napalm bombs, you can kind of not do that. So for example here, look at the amount of damage that a napalm bomb can do. A lot less multipliers, but a lot more damage, like a lot, like 1/3 of the best bomb load of this aircraft. So yeah, napalm is really good to destroying bases, for example. So but you can multiply that and take a look on how much actual, you know, stuff you're gonna get if you're grinding, for example. So it is pretty cool. And basically this is it. There are other changes, but these are the main ones that I wanted to talk about. The data mine, stuff like that, I will wait and do a proper video on it just to let you know. But yeah, guys, I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye. See ya.